Oh, there we go. Looks like it was going to flip around, but we're doing good. Come on in for a moment with Celeste, everybody. Happy Friday to you. And I'm hoping that this will be a good way to start off your weekend by watching and learning, if you don't know already, how to do one of these little envelope journals. And, you know, there are as many types and styles and methods for doing envelope journals as there are people in the world, I think. So come on in if you see me, if you could say hi, and we'll get started on this. And see if I can find myself. That would be a good thing, right? So anywho, let's see. Okay, there we go. You know, I'm trying to do better at being able to balance this, having to use two different devices in order to see comments. But it works, and at least I'm not pulling into having to go into everybody else's site right now today, so that'll make it a little easier. But come on in and say hi. Hope you can join me. So the envelope journal we're going to use to do today it's a folio actually, and you can use any size envelopes to do this. You could even use, and I think I might try this sometime, you could even use like a file folder envelope, one of those big file envelopes, and have it be a big book. Wouldn't that be kind of fun to flip through that and think of all the space you would have to be able to do your work. So I am going to go ahead and get started. And what I am going to do are I'm using 6 of the standard envelopes. Just 6 of these is what I have. And actually on this I have 5, so, but that's okay because I have another one that I already started. But you're going to want to, you can use however many. If you want to use 5, you can use 5. If you want to use 4, you can use 4. Maybe you can do one with 2, right? So sometimes when you're doing envelope folios and journals, they can be a little tricky. Just trying to understand and figure out which pieces go where. This one is an easy one, and I want to show you how simple this is. Okay, so you're going to open up your first. Now I know you're seeing this backwards. I don't know if it'll help. Maybe if I do it upside down, it'll help you a little bit to see it. But what you're going to start with, and I'm just using good old Eileen's tacky glue on this, okay? So I'm going to come up here on the top of where the flap is at, and I'm going to put a bead of glue up here around that part, and then over here, but I'm not going to go past that line in the middle. What I'm wanting is for this top portion to be stuck down. And it's going to be stuck down because the next envelope I use is going to be laid the same way. You see here? So I'm doing the same way. And what's going to happen is I'm going to take this now, and I am going to put this bottom of this edge of this envelope just right there, real close to the edge there, where that natural fold is at. See if I did it right. Okay. Whew. So there we have it. Okay. So I'm going to keep going, doing this same technique. Glue the licky part. And you know, a lot of the envelopes today are the flat square shape ones. That works just as well. So, I'm going to come in here, put the glue, and take the next one so it looks the same way. Put it right here. Don't want to go past that crease because this is going to fold into an accordion. Then we're going to open her up. Hello there, Jill. I enjoyed seeing your live this morning. You did flip-flop envelopes on yours. This one's a different envelope. One's a little accordion one we're going to work on. So there we go. Again, the thing just to remember is you want your envelope when you glue it down to be exactly what that one was. So it's going to go right on here, just above the crease line, and glue it on. So I'll do one more. Excuse me, want to use, I pulled out 5 on this one, 5 envelopes, but on the other one we're going to work off of, there are 6. It's the same thing, just pull it in here. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for popping in today. So basically, that's what you're going to end up with, okay? So however many envelopes you want to use for your folio is how many envelopes you're going to use. So this one here, I'm just going to show you kind of what we'll do. I'm pressing it on because I want that glue to get really soaked in there. Now, what I'm going to do, the finished product is going to be, we'll use this one. Yeah, I'm going to use this one. And I'll turn it up the right way. So anyway, you're just going to accordion. Okay, do your accordion folds. And then when you get that done, make sure they're all lined up, that your envelopes are lined up. And then it's just going to be pressed down. So you have your accordion, okay? So that's what we're going to work off today. So just remembering, hi Tammy, I see ya. Just remember, this one here is so easy that it makes you feel like you're doing something wrong. But you take your first envelope, you glue the top, and then you're just going to stack them all on there. So if you didn't catch how I did that, you can go back on the replay and look at that. So that's going to be another one I'll work on another time. And I'm going to set that over here to the side. And then I'm going to pull out one that we're going to work on today. So this one here, these are the papers that I chose to use. Now these here are just regular scrap papers. There's a couple of them in here that are cardstock. I think I would have actually liked to use the cardstock. I just didn't have any. So we're going to today, for our purpose here, we are going to use the one-sided, most of them are one-sided, just plain old scrap paper. So what I'm going to do is, I've gone in and did my cuts, but I'm going to show you how to do them when we go along here. So we pull these little guys out. So there's some little fun, little funky little moves you get to make with this one. Okay. So what I've done is I went ahead and I pre-cut. So we're going to start first with the side. When you open this up, that's going to be all solid, okay? So there was the side that we just finished up, but this is going to be the inserts, and I'm going to work on that with you on here live. But to start with, I want to take and cover up all the sides on all the sections on the back. So I did mark on myself where that I want my front. I wanted to do my accordion so that my front's a solid piece. So I did put that little F on there for front. And then on the back, I've got a little B written on there. You probably can't see it. So that I know that that's where I want to end up when I do my accordion fold. So I'm going to open it up. And we're going to start. Doesn't matter which way on which end, because they're all going to be the same. What I did is I took my scrap paper. So for example, I put my scrap paper sheet underneath it. And then I just took a pencil mark on one. And I'm going to bring it down, and I'm marking here. So when I get ready to cut it, I know this probably isn't making sense because I don't think I'm making sense to myself. So it's going to be cut like there and across here. Okay, so I'm going to pull it up a little bit, and I want my cut to be just inside where the edge of the crease of the envelope is at. So what I did with these is I took my one cut, used it as my pattern. Let's see if I get them right here. This one's going to go this one here. I used them as the pattern, and then I got my paper cutter out, and I took all my papers. See, I've got them all stacked here, and I just laid that on the paper cutter as the whole sheets and used this as my template. So my template, if I followed it, if I did it with a pair of scissors, I would just take it where I put my little mark at. I'm going to cut up here to this other little mark, but it's much easier to use it on cut them all at one time on your paper cutter. Okay, I'm just going to end up with a square. All that basically is doing is that's going to cover, be the size that's going to cover your envelope. So you remember we got 6 envelopes here. So this one we're working on is the first one. So we would just cut it, and if you need to trim it down, you can. I like to do my little, I'm going to take a little snip here. I like to use the little corner rounder, of course. Okay, and that's what you'll have. And you'll do each page. I'm doing mine. Each piece is going to be a different color. I don't want the same, I don't want this print on my whole journal. Okay, so we're going to go in now. And I'm going to take the first one I have here, and we're going to cut it down. And like I said, the thing that I want to watch for is that I want this to be a little bit shorter than the actual width of the paper. Okay, because if I don't, it's going to be hard for my folio to fold properly. Okay. So for this one here, I'm going to come up here. It's still a little longer than I want it. Go figure, I thought I had it all cut just right, because I want some of my white to show on the edging. Okay. And then I do want to do my lovely little grunging. And let's see. I have to decide. I'm going to give it a try with the frayed burlap color. Kind of a grayish color here. And then we'll go around, do the edges on all 6 pieces. Hi, Lori. Hello, Anthony. Thank you guys for popping in. Nice to see you all. I like this color of the frayed burlap of the distressed ink. I'll show you here in a second. Kind of, if you're not familiar with it. It's kind of a gray, but then it has a little bit of black, a little bit of brown, a lot of, maybe even a tad of a green in it, I think. But see how nicely that, you probably can't even tell on there. But it's just a really nice little color. Okay, so I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to use my, on this one here, I am going to use my art glitter glue on this one just because it's a little bit thinner. And I know it'll dry faster. So you're going to put your glue here. Whoops. Get it on there pretty good. And then I'm going to put in, this is the back, remember, of the journal that doesn't have the openings. So I'm going to go like so. I think I got it a little bit over too far. Okay, there we go. So there's my first one. Then I'm going to do my second page. And again, I'm going to trim it down a bit. Even when you think you have it exactly like you want it, it isn't always going to be that way, is it? We know that for sure, right? Okay, I'm going to trim off the top edge a little and trimmed off the bottom a little. And I'm actually going to go do a little bit more on this side. If you want to see a fun one, you'll have to check out Whispering Hope Kids Creations. Jill did a fun big one today, this morning, with using all kinds of sizes of envelopes and flips and things like that. That was a fun one to watch. Okay, so we'll do that. I'm going to get my distress ink. And go around this one. One of my favorite sounds ever is the distressing of paper with a dauber. Crunch, 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 crunch. I love that sound. Okay, and we're going to just take and put the glue here. Get all the way up to the edge. This is the easy side. Okay, so I'll show you what we mean when we get to the other one. Okay, so see how by trimming them down, it's giving me that little gap in between, and that's what I want. Because I'm going to come back through and grunge that up a little bit. Let's see, let's go with this plain brown for now. So it's just going to be determined by the size of envelopes that you use, how you want to cut yours. What sizes. You can always make a quick little test to make sure. I don't want it to be too short. Okay. I know Jill's made an envelope folio before. Has anybody else? Tammy, I think you did from one time when we did a live quite a while back. And we did, when I actually did my very first folio. And that was with the long envelopes. Tammy, can you share a little bit on here about what your experience was the very first time you tried to work with the envelopes? Yeah, they're fun, aren't they, Jill? They're fun because they just add so many different little flaps and folds and things. I enjoy working with the envelopes too. Then I think I'll put this one on. It's another music. Oh, well, I'm going to put this one on. This is a little like dress form type of. Make sure I got the right ones here. I don't want to. Got that one to do. And then there should be another little dress form in here. Give me that one. I thought I had one for all sides, but I guess I didn't. Shoot. Well, maybe I'll go ahead and use this anyway. Okay, this was probably the one I did originally that worked exactly like it was supposed to. But they are fun. I did, and it was kind of a disaster. It was at first, wasn't it? Once you get that envelope, that's why I tried to take a little time at the beginning to show you on this one. Because what messes with our minds on these is where those flap and lick downs go. And once you get that figured out, it's much easier. And the one that you did, Tammy, too, was the one that I did where I used the big sheets of paper and we covered the whole thing. So this one's a little different, and this one's probably a little bit easier to do. Okay, and then we'll put this down here on this side. And then we're on our last one. Then we're going to go over to the fun side. To the fun side of life. With this one here, I actually made sure I did the envelopes correctly on this sample one so that I wouldn't have a disaster for all of you. Okay. Turn that down a little bit. Okay. And this will be our last panel on the whole back side. So again, this back side was the side where all of the flaps were glued down. You don't see the basic shape of the real envelope. Okay, put this on here. Whoopsie daisy. I forgot to ink this one too, didn't I? So if I was using my lightweight cardstock, this would be just a little firmer, but it really doesn't matter. It just depends on how you like the feel of your journals. So let's get this on here, like so. Okay, so there we've got our back on. Okay, now we are going to flip it over. And here is the inside. And again, I want you to be able to see this. Okay. So I have gone through and done some pre-work because I had to get it all figured out in my head too. And I want to show you here how you do these inserts. So these inserts are going to be the same. Okay. Except, when I say the same, they're going to be the same, like you would put them on here, but we are going to go through, let me see where I put them all. Okay, so I'm going to, on my tuck-ins here, I'm putting the colored piece, only because that's what I decided, but you could do whatever. So you take your piece here, again, that matches just like we did here, okay, on the other side. Oops, I forgot one. I'll have to go back and put that one on. You take your piece here, but let me get this straight in my head. This is going to be tucked in. Okay, so if I need, you're going to think, well, how in the world do you take and cover this? So these are where they all need to be. I've got them in. I've got them tucked in, and I'll be gluing those down in a second. Okay, so let's just take some glue, get it down inside of here, so that this ends up being the piece that's going to show just like that. So I'm going to go, first of all, and I'm going to show you, it's just those squares that were just the same size. We cut them down just a little bit, remember? And then this is going to go in here, and it's going to be like the inside lining of my envelope. Okay? And then I'm going to put some more glue in here. Get that down, and make sure I'm not crossing over on my seam. This one. So basically you're just putting the lining inside of your envelope and bringing it up so that it's even with the edge and where the fold's going to be. Press it down. We're doing the lining. Okay, bring it up. Okay, and then on this one here, I'm going to take this tuck. This was the last one of the line, and I'm not going to make it an envelope tuck in. I'm just going to make it a place that I can add some decoration. So I'm just going to close it up. Then I'm going to put a piece on here. And I think on this one here, I'm going to put this pretty rose. Oops, no, I'm not, because that's what I put right there. Put this little magazine article type of paper. Well, I got that there. I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting them really too close together. Maybe on this one. I don't really care much for this, but I'm going to use it because I'm going to be able to use some of my decorations, my embellishments, to cover up some of the note paper. So let's just do that. So this piece here is going to be just like the back was done. Hi, Carol. Hi, Diantha. Thanks for popping in, everybody. Get it grunched up, okay. And then we're going to put this down here. So this is the back flap of my folio. All right. So that's going to go there. See how that's just going to be a place that can be a place that I can put some embellishments, or it can be a journal writing spot. Now, are you ready? This here, and I'm going to find a paper that I can use as a sample. We'll use this. It's not going to be used in here, but this here, I want to show you how you get this shape, okay? Because this is that shape that's going to cover the envelope. See that? It's going to cover the outside top part of the envelope. So there's the envelope. I have this glued in, the lining glued in, and then we're going to be working on this piece here. That's going to be the top part of the inside of the envelope. So basically all you have to do is, if you make a template, and you're going to get your width here, and then I'm going to bring it up a little bit shorter from what the width of the envelope is. And then we are going to take this, and again, keeping it close to the seam and bringing it up here. Okay, up to that line. Now I'm going to cut this square. It's just going to be just, again, what we've just done with all the other pieces we've glued down. I'm just finding the size that I want. Now, obviously, the easiest way to do this is just to get the measurement. But you know, today I'm not in an easy I'm not in an easy frame of mind. You can just get the measurements and cut your pages all the same. So that's what you're going to start with on everything. So to get this shape here, I take my page, and this is my insert, but this is actually going to be my template. But it would be just like I was doing an insert. And then I am going to just trace this right here around this envelope pocket. Okay. I don't want to get on top of the pocket. It's just going to be tracing this is going to be your template. So then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut where I drew the lines at. And there is my template that's going to be used. See? So just, you're going to get a square. It's just like all your other squares were, but cut it down so it's going to fit inside here like an insert. You insert it all the way, go all the way down, and then you trace, and where you've traced, you cut out. Is that clear as mud? Well, hello, little Miss Vicky. How are you? Our superhero there who had knee surgery and already up doing all the things. You're amazing, girl. You are amazing. Okay, so we've done that. Now these here I've kind of done on the neutral colors, and I'm going to show you what I did here. Okay, these are the neutrals, and the reason I did this is because these are going to get decorated up too. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I needed one more, and here it is. Okay, so those are going to be my inside pockets. Well, of course, now we are going to start by getting these glued on, and it's going to show a little bit, and that's going to be okay because I'm going to go back through and grunge these up as well. There's no rhyme or reason as to why I decided. I didn't even decide. I just cut and then started laying. So, you know, if I wanted to use these pretty patterns, I could do that on this side too, and then use the solid as the tuck-ins, as the inside lining. But I'm not going to do that. Oops, I'm not going to do that either. Here we go. Okay. Erase my little pencil mark I did there. Okay, there's the first one. And then I'm going to come through and I'm going to grunge up this edge. And I'm going to grunge up the edge over here. Just going around that shape of that envelope. And then down here. Okay, and then I'll just take a scrap piece of paper here and go inside here to do my grunging on the edge where that little bit of white shows. And I like it when the edge like that kind of shows because I think it makes it look, for this one, gives it a little more vintage grungy look. Okay, so there we've got that first pocket is done. See there? It's done. There's the pocket for the envelope. Oops, let me get my finger in here. This is where you're going to put your little tucks and things. And then we're going to go, and I'm going to, before I go any further, I want to make sure I'm going to put on my front cover here. Remember I told you at the beginning how I put an F for the front and had a B on the back? This is why, because now I know what I'm doing. So she says, fully understand. Oh, Carol, I hope you do. I hope you do. I feel like this is really the remedial session. And you ever have those days where you just feel a little not quite as sharp as you do on other days? This is one of my cloudy days. And I know what it's from, and I don't like it. One bit. Okay, whoops. See, I almost did it. Grunge it up. Carol, I bet you have made hundreds and hundreds of journals, haven't you? You're going to really like this, guys, when it gets done. And I hope it does inspire you to give it a try, and knowing that, you know, you might make some boo-boos on it, but it's okay, right? You can always fix the boo-boos. Okay, so there's my front. Now I'm flopping it open. Here's that inside. Now I'm just going to go through here and we're going to do the same thing. Let's do this next envelope. Just make sure you get enough glue because you don't want your pages to come loose on this because it's going to be used a lot. So on this one here, we're going to put this one right there. Bring it down a little bit. Okay. Grunge up. Oops. I didn't let that dry. I think I'll wait and grunge when it dries. Okay. So then we're going to do the next one. I'm going to go the other. So what I'm doing on these here is every other. That's all I'm doing. On as far as the color of the top of the pocket. Okay. But wasn't that a nice little trick on how you get this shape? Just stick it in, trace it, and cut it, and then you've got your shapes for your pockets. That was when I first saw this, I thought, huh, how in the world do you get that pocket top to be that shape? Well, now we know. I usually make them and give them away. That is wonderful, Carol. So sweet. I bet people love getting those. Oops, I don't want that one. As gifts. Let's see here. Now I know I had one. Here it is. Okay. What I find is a lot of times when people have never seen one and you give one to them, they're like so astonished as to what is this, you know? And then as they get to flipping through, they're just like, it almost starts to mesmerize you. Okay. There's my last one. On there. Boy, we're doing good on time. Look at that. It's only taken 40 minutes just to get this done. Take a little longer if I get the papers. Okay, so I am going to let that dry, okay? But the way that we'll fold it then, this is my front, and I'm accordioning it this way, okay? So now we're going to go through and we're going to grunge the white edges. And then when you open it up, you've got all these little pockets, okay? So, let's start the grunging. Let's see, let's go on the back side here first. I'm just going around and covering up where all the white envelope showed. And you could leave it there very well, easily could just leave it there. But I'm going to go down just because I like grunge. Are you all grungers, or are you like, no, leave the grunge off people? What are you? A grunger or leave it off? Put it in the comments. Grunger or leave it off? Kind of a person when you do yours. Carol, it's so relaxing to do, isn't it? Just making and creating them. And every single one you do, I could do the same style layout, but it's going to be a total different feel and look to it. It's going in and covering up those white spots, so it gives it a little bit more blending in. And there's so many different colors of the distressed inks that you use too. I've got bright pinks and I've got greens and blues, and so, you know, whatever your color of your, okay. See how I grunged that up and just made it look a little older. Lori's a grunger. Woohoo! Got a grunger in the house. Carol, I like the grunge on some pieces, but if it's colorful, say summer or spring, then no, I don't add grunge. Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is that I would either leave it white or whatever color my base is, or I would ink it with some of the brighter colors if I had those that were in the actual print. I love doing the bright ones too. They're so pretty. There's so many papers, my goodness. I'm helping out at a scrapbook store, and I'm going to head back over there maybe today or tomorrow yet and grab me some more colored papers because there's some pretty ones. The other day I actually picked up some Christmas prints that I used for the Christmas in July event where I had to make those little, I made those little Christmas tags. I don't know if y'all saw that on that sale. Okay, got that. And I'm going to come over here and do these while I've got my little piece of paper here. You're all about the ink. Lori, I am going to do a live, and you may have seen it. I'm going to do a live on one of my lives coming up where you can color your own ribbon, your own laces with distress inks. And it was so cool. I saw somebody a long time ago, a while back, on one of those, I think it was a YouTube or something that was doing it, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So that's one we got coming down the line here. Okay. Do this one. Isn't it funny how we love to grunge things up? But I'm not a grunger on the way I dress. You know what I mean? Well, maybe. But typically, you know, it's like, I think there used to be a style where they called it grunge, didn't they? Back when my kids were teenagers, I think, or a little bit older. Yeah, I'm probably not much on the grunge on the dressing style, but okay. All right. Come up here to the top edges. I'm gonna have to do a little mending here because I tried to fold it before the glue dried, and it kind of wanted to do a little rip right here. So what I'm going to do is I will take something, even if it's a piece of fabric, and kind of make it look like that's part of it. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Now, the fun part, my favorite part, is always getting to, so there's my book. There's my folio. See there? Now getting to do the decorating. So I did find, I have this in my stash, and I want to go with this to be like a little kind of a female theme, okay? So it's going to have a little vintage modern look to this journal. So I have lots of things that I can still keep cutting out. And just looked at this, and this is going to be too big, but wouldn't that, so this is one of the, that we did on our my private group last night. We made tea bag dresses. So you can see the tea bag, and then just kind of doll them all up. So these are going to be used in some of my upcoming pieces of ephemera for some of my journals. Okay, so on the front here, I get to choose what I want to do the cover with. And, you know, I've got my little trims here that I can trim it out with. Not sure. I like this one because how they cut that. Look how they cut that. This is when I got at my little antique place. I think I'm going to use this one for the front page cover. So we'll get this glued on. Probably use my Fabri-Tac for this. Okay. It was so fun to make them. Wasn't that fun? Tammy, if you get some made up, send me a picture of it on my private messenger or post it on our private group page. I'd like to see what yours are because everybody's is going to be so different. That was kind of one of those little projects that you can do, just sit and watch TV and do your little vintage or your little tea dresses. Okay. Get that on there. I really like how this edge, can you guys see that? I don't know when they trim this off of whatever they trim it off of, but I like the way they did the edge so much. So I'm going to glue that down. So it's not flip-flopping around. Doesn't this make a cute little size of a journal folio? It really does. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so on that one, my friend Norma was just here for a few minutes and she saw this sitting around. She goes, oh, I like those. Those are cute. They are cute. I got these at my little local craft store. So I might use one of these up here somewhere. That'll be pretty, won't it? On that, because it's a pale pink. But I think the first thing I want to do is get my head around what I'm going to do for the overall design. Now, I just saw here somewhere, put it in here. I have some of my little blingy trim that I could use on here, and I don't know where I put it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let's just see. I think adding this to this little piece here will be really pretty. I do, and I'm going to do it a double row. So let's just get this where it's all even. And do my double row, cut it down. This is one of my favorite craft supplies too. You can use this for so many things, and it lasts forever because you just cut, you know, separate how much you want. Okay, let's see if that's long enough. Okay, I'm gonna go right there. Girly that up a little bit. And then, so I'm gonna put that right on there. That's gonna be the opening. I should have turned my glue gun on. I thought, oh, I don't need my glue gun on this one. I think I need my glue gun for everything I do. Even if it wasn't intentional, I gotta use it to fix something up, right? Okay, we'll do my Fabri-Tac down here. And go right down the middle on this. Get it on there good. And then we'll put our little blingy on here. Okay. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Then, I think on this one here, I'm going to probably do something like this with this little cardboard to make the little whatever I'm going to call this journal. So I'm not going to do it yet, but I am going to get a piece cut out to see how I want to do this. Okay. So probably something like that. That might be a good spot to put the little pink flower on it. I think. And then I'll probably get a little phrase or something to put on that. And let's see what I have in this box of all kinds of stickers. Let's see here. Inspirational. Let's see. I always love the simple thing. My little motto phrase that I've used for the last few years is enjoy today. Enjoy today. This one has enjoy life. But okay. Well, wait, I'm not going to put them on yet. Okay. So this here, I know is going to be an option for the front cover. Okay. Thank you, Jill. Oh, Patsy, hi. Patsy, I love that little post you did last night with the little quilted bib that I had sent your way. And I can't wait. I'm going to watch you now. Am I correct that you are on at, is it 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock Central Time tonight on the Crafty Bunch page, Patty or Patsy? Can you tell us? And I want you guys to make sure you go over to the Crafty Bunch today. They have some wonderful presenters that are presenting on there. And I was going to jump in and take the 3 o'clock slot, but it was already got filled. So, but design your day with Patsy Ray. Give Patsy a follow. She does some beautiful work too. And, but Patsy, let us know, is it 7 o'clock Eastern or 7 o'clock Central tonight that you are on the Crafty Bunch with that little quilted baby, antique vintage baby quilt that you had bought on one of my sales? That is a cutie. Okay, so there we go. Okay, now I'm going to come in here and try to figure out what I want to do on these pages inside. And this is where I've got, so like, what I'm thinking in my head is like I can put this lady, this modern lady, I'm going to ink her up, and I'm going to ink her with the, I think I'll try it with this one. Ooh, I like that. Look at that nice grunge edge Jack gave on that. Okay, so yes, 7:15 Central, 8:15 Eastern on the Crafty Bunch, or you can find her on her Design Your page with Patsy Ray too. I can't wait. I'm really excited to see what you end up doing with that. Wasn't that just the sweetest little piece? When I found that at my antique shop, I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to get this. With those, what's it called, Patsy? The, what do they call that imprint on the fabric that they did? I can't remember what that would be called. Okay, so on this page here, I'm going to put this lady, and I'm going to, you know, juice her up a little bit as far as put some pretty stuff in here. Got this little piece of this pink lace that might be a nice little addition down here. And I was just going to cut that fraying part off, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it. What if we put that, have her standing on that? That will work. So much of the inspiration that I get, guys, when I'm doing these things is I sit down, and what I did with you today, I just sat down here. I sat down not having a clue how I was going to arrange this and what things I was going to add to it, other than I knew I wanted to do these little characters. But I get so much inspiration when I just look around my desk and my room and my little boxes that I have some snippets in, and something will just pop out. How do you find your inspiration? I find it really difficult if I put everything, organize everything, and put it all away in my little bins that I have that I absolutely love, like these. But if I don't have that sitting in front of me, I don't see it, and that's where I get my inspiration at. Love to know how you guys get yours. Okay, so let's glue her down. Are you the type that you like to have pieces just laying out around? Not like my whole room isn't like that right now, but just around in their little boxes and containers where you can see them? Or are you the kind that you get everything pulled out and keep them organized and then pull it all out because you already know in your head, or maybe you've written it down already, exactly how you want yours to look? Now, I have done that, especially when I have done, when I first started doing my Altered Golden books. I used to write down what I wanted on each page. Okay, so there's that. Okay, see the little pink we've got there. Oopsie. Okay. Then, this would probably be a little cute spot to put one of these little flowers, because of the, across from her is this little pink. But maybe I'll just do that over here. Let's see. How's it going to fold? Okay. So there's a little tiny one. Look at this. That's a cute. And it has this little, even the little leaves. These are made out of paper. They're made out of paper. And you know what? My store, only $1.99 is all she charges for that. Now, their other ones aren't that, but for some reason these are. So maybe what I'm going to take and do is I definitely could add it down here and make this cute little embellishment on here. So Lori, you try and organize and then end up pulling it all out. See, that's what I do. I get it so organized and I get so proud of myself. And then I'll sit in here and do one of my projects, and then before I know, before I've even ended, my whole table is full. If I don't have it, I forget I have it. That's when I'm like Jill. Usually I figure in my head how I want it. Yeah. If I don't see it, I forget it. Patsy, I try to stay organized, then I shop my stash. I'm not good at putting it away until I have a disaster zone. I think that's what most of us are like, Patsy. Hi there, Pat. How are you? Good to see you. I think a lot of us are like that. We get it put away because that organization makes us feel so much better. And, you know, we're thinking, gosh, yeah. And it helps remind us what we have. But then once we get started, like my table here was cleared off on this part when I started, but look, can you see it now? You probably can't even see it. I'm not going to show you with that. You'll probably see everything else. But look at it. See? So this here, I've pulled stuff out, and then I get it on my table. Then I have to get it all organized again. I have to say I really do like adding this little flower down here, and that's what I'm going to do. And she's kind of looking downward, so it almost looks like she's looking at this little flower that's down here on the ground that she's walking on. And this is a little pale pink, but these are so cute. Look at that. Okay, and we're going to put it right here for that. And then maybe up here on the top, I'm going to find some type of one of my little stickers that I'll put some type of a phrase on there. And let's do one more here. Maybe let's do one more. Let's go to the back side and do one. Let's see. I've got this one here that's the neutral paper, like notebook paper. And I have this pretty little blue lady in there. I'm going to grunge her up. And she's a cutie too. I'll have to show this close up to you, the little features on the face. Okay. Can you see the features on this? See if we can get it held up here. I know I have a delay on my other. Isn't she the cutest little thing? I am making a folio journal out of envelopes, Pat. Isn't she pretty? I love her. So I think I'm going to put her on here. And let's see, where do I want her? And what do I want with her? Because we have options. I have this little door. I have these little tennis shoes. Let's see what else we have. So if I put her here, and then she actually would look really cute there because there's some words here written in French. I believe it's French down at the bottom. I could maybe even put her kind of down in that way. And then we've got, look at here, there's even a little journal to cut out. Oh, decisions. It has some books. I may have to play around with her a little bit because there's a lot of options that I have for her. I have this one too that's so cute. And I can just fussy cut around this one. Fussy cut, do we like to fussy cut? It's a little big, but look at that, isn't that cute? So that one might be too big for this page, unless I overlap a little bit. And I can put her partially on there, but maybe something like this will work. And I think that will. I think that's what I'll do. I'm going to just scrunch her up a little bit. These flowers. Okay. And I'll go right up to the edge there. And then we'll bring her down. We'll just do some fun stuff with this. And let's see here. Oh, I glued it. I was going to see if I didn't glue that, I could have just used that as a pocket up here too, but too late now. Okay. Then up here. And then we'll bring her and kind of have her overlap a little bit so she's standing on those words. I'm making you all dizzy. Okay. Just kind of bring it in a little overlap. Layer it a bit. Okay. That's a cute one. Something different. See there? All right. And then, so we got that, and I have to add a little piece of something trimmy on there, because that's kind of what, I just have to do. And I know I had some that I just put away over here. Let's see here. This one looks like, I don't know, this one might be too wide. I can do this too. I'll just do a piece of this. Probably. I can run that kind of there, or I'm just going to put a little smidge down here at the bottom, and I think that's what I'll do. I'm just going to put a smidge of this. Now this trim one here is not a vintage. This one is from Hobby Lobby, but every time I go I grab it because I love it, because it looks so vintage. Okay, we're going to set that right here. And, of course, you're probably already guessing what I'm going to have to add on that piece of trim. Let's see what kind of a button I can find. Let's go. That's going to be too bulky. Got this little, it's kind of cute there. A little piece of bling that can go right on there. And here's another, ooh, get my finger stuck in here. Then we will have trouble. Well, this one's got the shank on the back, but I like this one too. Let's take the shank off and see if I can get to lay down flat. Yeah, you knew, didn't you, Tammy? You knew. I'm going to let you gals know on here today that I have a good abundance of button packages that I was able to get yesterday. And if you would like to have, it's going to be about a 4 ounces of things like this that are just all over. Let's see, is it 4? No, sorry, they're 6 to 7 ounces. They're bigger. 6 to 7 ounce packets. And I can get that to you for $7 for 6 to 7 ounces. So if you want that, just put in the comments or send me a private message. Say one, how many packs of buttons you want. They're 6 to 7 ounces and they're going to be $7 each. And and of course, it'll be their shipping. But let me know if you're interested in that, because I will definitely be glad to ship you some even before I do my sale. Okay, so here's that little button on that. And I don't know that I like that on there. I think I like the little blingy piece better. Just looks a little more girly. So let's put the blingy flower on there. Okay. See that? Whoops, wrong one. See there? Okay. So that's where we'll end today. And this is going to be fun. I can't wait to get this one even more done. And if I happen to get it finished, I'll post a video for you to see. But other than that, again, if you do want a pack of those 6 to 7 ounces of buttons for $7, just let me know. Put it in send me a message and I can get those to you. They are great. This gal, they told me that she had collected buttons for years and years and years and years. And then I threw in, there's some colored ones that I did put in here that are a little different, that are more of them. No, they're not really. They're probably about 15 years old. But all the rest of them came from her. So this is my stash, but I've got her stash out there. Okay? All right. Well, everybody, thanks for coming in. Make sure we watch Patsy tonight and give her some support at 7:15 Central on the Crafty Bunch. And then jump over to the Crafty Bunch and jump over to the Crafters Hive. Those are the 2 groups that I'm in. And get in there and see what's going on those pages and follow those pages. They both have wonderful different presenters at times and things, and I'm loving it. So thanks again. Have a wonderful weekend, and hugs to you all. Bye-bye.